Hello all and welcome to our ZoidRush video. I'm your host Tmzoids, and today we're going to be talking about the new subscriber tiers that Twitch released or announced on Twitter a couple days ago, and also going to incorporate the new subscriber emoticon guide. And if you see me looking off to the left, it's because that's where my notes and online, all the stuff is online there. So I'm going off the website and whatnot there. So that's why that is. But before we get into this video, besides the frustrations and the mess ups I already did with this video, I'm trying something else new. I'm using XSplit instead of OBS. So I would like to appreciate some comments and concerns about what the video looks like. I know you're like, well, it doesn't look any different. You're just standing there with a camera. But does it look better visually? Is the camera grainy? Because on my side, it looks kind of grainy. Is the audio better? Is the audio worse? I'm trying a lot of different things. And as some of you might know, is when I record videos now, this headset does not want to stay connected when I use these programs for some odd reason. When I just record, streaming is fine. But for some odd reason, when I record, it's like, all right, you're talking, and if I'm not paying attention, it disconnects me, and then I'm like, what? And it doesn't matter if it's plugged into the computer or not. For people who are going to say, plug it in, do it, have the cord hanging. But I just tried that, and I made, I want to say, a 10-minute video, and I realized 2 minutes in it disconnected again. So I'm trying something different, and hopefully that works. If you're wondering why my voice is sounding different, it's because I just sneezed 40 times before trying to record this video again. So let's get right into it. First things first, Twitch released on Twitter this new subscriber beta thing, and it had this picture of all subscriptions, and you're like, oh, okay, you have Prime, $4.99, $9.99, and $24.99. And Twitch presents and then this is in the $9.99 they have selected. Twitch presents Popcorn. Includes ad-free viewing, which you already got at $4.99, but we're going to go into that in a little bit. Subscriber badges and 26 emoticon chat during subscriber-only mode. And plus one extra channel emote. Subscribe now, $9.99. So, before I get too in-depth, I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of this. As you can see, I'm going to talk from the streamer perspective, which is probably going to be more the pros, and then I'm going to talk about the viewer perspective, which is going to be more probably cons of it. So if you want to look at it that way, I'm just trying to do both sides, play devil's advocate on both sides, and let you decide and do your own research. As always, I don't want you to be like, yeah, he's right, look at this is bullshit, or oh man, he's right, this is not too bad. So whatever you decide you take out of this video, just do your research and come up with your own conclusions and ideas. So once we're going to start talking about this, we're going to go right into the streamer perspective. So what is this? And the first thing you can always think of is cash money, baby, right? So when it comes to $4.99, $9.99, $24.99, you're just thinking automatically, hey, that's more money for a streamer. That's awesome. As a streamer, now you're not just getting $2.50 per sub. So if you have like over 1,000 subs, you only get $2.50 per month, which we'll talk about that a little bit more in detail in a second. But you get $2.50 for 1,000 subs, and you're like, what the heck? This is not a lot of money. Now, some subs, or maybe a majority of your subs, depending on how big your fan base is, can subscribe with $24.99 or $9.99, and that's more cash income. Now, that being said, I've gotten reports and heard things from certain partners, because I'm not partnered myself, but I've heard from partners that it doesn't always work that way. The notion or the belief is from a lot of us, or especially me, I would say, is that if you were subbed and then it was like a tier, you almost unlocked more of your portion, if that made sense. Like if you were at a job for so long and then finally you got to that certain point in the job, it was like, hey, here's a raise, like a certain amount of raise, right? That's kind of how like a general job works. And you thought that's how it worked with Twitch. If you got to a certain subscriber count, they're like, hey, you're making us more money, we'll give you a little bit more money on the side, because you're helping us out, you're keeping us going, you're the reason we're going. That's not always the case. I found out the case is it's all contract based, and Twitch really works it into your contract. If you're stuck at 50%, you're going to be stuck at 50%. Now, if it's in your contract, it's like, oh, if you hit a certain milestone, then yes, you can get more than 50%, which is like maybe 60%. And from what I've heard, it has nothing to do with popularity. I know a lot of people say, oh yeah, well, this guy. Well, that's not always the case. Some subscribers, or some partners, I should say, have explained to themselves that it's not really worth it to have a subscriber after you get to a certain mark, because it's like you're not making any more money. So this will kind of help that out, and if it still applies, if they take 50% of the cut, then you're making $5. If you're paying $25, it'd be like $13.50 maybe, right? Give or take $13.50, maybe 14. No, $13.50, give or take, maybe $12.50. Am I doing that right? It's $12.50. My math's bad. Anyway, that's not the point. So you're making a little bit more cash money, and that's great for them. Some other things are, for a partner, is you get more emoticons, which will go right into the emoticon list here. Now, before this new tier list came out, it was very difficult to get new icons. And just to give you an example, for one streamer from going from 250, because that's one of the unlocks there, you would go from 250 to get so many icons. I think it's like 8 or something, right? And then you had to jump all the way to 500. So you needed 250 more subs to get to the next tier list of emotes that you can unlock, right? So what the fuckery is that? That is a lot. And you would only get like 5 extra emotes for 250 more subs. Keep in mind there. That is a huge jump. So they redid the list. And looking at the list, it's actually, from a streamer's point of view, this is reasonable. I like this, and I'll tell you why this is really good for streamers in a second, besides the emoticons. So of course it's promotion. You can use the emoticon as your sub anywhere on Twitch. You can spam it anywhere. Some people be like, oh, that's a cute. People do that all the time. That's a cool emote. Where'd you? Oh, that channel. Blah blah blah. Well, now it's much easier to get a lot more emote slots. Right off the bat, if you're at 0, you get 2. 2 is awesome. And then you have to get 10 for 3, and you're like, okay, well that kind of sucks. But if you're getting partnered, you have to keep in mind you probably have a good fan base of at least 20 to 50 people. That's what I'm going with. 20 to 50. Maybe that's not always the case, but if you have 20 to 50 people off the bat, 50 subscribers, right there is 6 emotes. And a lot of people would have 2 to 4 when they were at the hundreds, 200s, and you're just like, why is this? Why? This is bad. So this is really exciting. You get to just so many creative ideas, so many cool ideas that you want to do. Now you're not really restricted to be like, oh, do I pick this one? Do I pick that one? Oh, this one wins, or I want to rotate this one out, and we'll use this one a little bit. So you're not as constricted and confined into like, oh man, these have to be the best emotes that I can get, right? Because that's not always going to be the case. Secondly, when it comes to the new subscriber tier, we're going to bounce back and forth, sorry here, but one of the things that is cool for you is that as soon as, if you opt in for this is a beta, keep in mind beta, which we'll talk about this a little bit more, you actually get to unlock your permanent subscriber spots. Now beforehand, how it worked, and I don't know why it worked this way, Twitch always had the capability to do it differently. I don't know why we need these tiers, but we'll talk about that in a second. You can now permanently unlock your spot. So you know how I was saying earlier, if you're at 250 subs, you unlock so many sub slots, like 3 or something, right? If you fell below the 250 mark, I think it was 2 actually, and you get 2 more sub emotes. If you fell before the 250 mark at any time, so you could get 250 in the stream, and if you didn't upload those emotes within the stream, and you fell below 250 at the end of the stream, you would actually have to wait again to upload new emotes. They would not stay unlocked. So this new emote tier list, or whatever you want to call it, subscriber emote list guide, is much better now for subscribers that, or partners I should say, that go into the Twitch and opt in for this new program, or whatever it's called, tier list, because they permanently unlock emotes, and they're getting a lot more for it. Promotion. Now, the last thing I want to say about this is money. We talked about money. It's like, oh, you get more money from your subs, and I think one of the biggest complaints, or one of the biggest things, is a lot of people were like, oh, I wish I could support you more than $5 a month, right? And that's where the donations came in, and the bits, and there was just different ways. And now it's like, oh, and now you can contribute as more. And 2 ways of contributing, which are big pros for Twitch partners, is one, now if you subscribe with the $9.99 and $24.99, you're doing more as a as a subscriber than just giving $4 a month or $5 a month and they're getting $2.50 or whatever. You're not only just giving them more money, you're also giving them more subscribers pretty much. So if you're at a $9.99, you're going to be counted as 2 subscribers now, if I remember correctly. And if you're a $24.99 subscriber, you count as 6 subscribers. That's correct, 6. So that could really play a role, especially when it comes to new emoticon tier. You're thinking like, oh, right off the bat, you get 6 subscribers. If somebody subs, one of your subs alone subs was $25 a month, you're almost at the 10 count if you're going from 0. That's 6 of your 10 that you need for 3 emotes, you know, and then if you get another one, 6 and 6 is 12, so you're almost to 20, and you almost have 4 emotes right off the bat. Or if, you know, the $9.99 people come in. So that's also cool. And the last thing that I think a lot of people are not considering, they're like, we'll talk about the viewer thing, but they're like, oh, Twitch just wants more money for this, which, like I said, we'll be talking about this. But this is a guaranteed way that the streamer gets the money. What do I mean by this? Is that you're going through Twitch now to subscribe. You're going through a third party, pretty much, to subscribe, which you do with donating, which we'll talk about. But you're going through Twitch, and you have to put in through Twitch that you subscribe, and you're kind of contracted with Twitch and not working with the partner that you're subscribing with individually, if that makes sense. Where this is good because there's a lot of people and trolls who are like, oh, I'm going to be an asshole and say, hey, I'm going to donate $20 to you, and then I'm going to refund it because, you know what, you didn't do what I liked you to do. So those people who did that on PayPal, not only do they get their $20 back, now the streamer most likely suffers a penalty because they were working with PayPal. This Twitch wasn't intervening here, and PayPal is now charging them. They're like, hey, you didn't give this guy his product because, you know, there's no such thing as a product for Twitch. You know, it's just you're donating to donate. And PayPal's like, well, you have to pay us a fine now because we have to pay the bank because the bank recharges it and we get charged. So now we're going to charge you and penalize you on top of the original money. So instead of $20, it's $35. And you're like, what the fuck? 15 extra dollars? Yes. The penalties, believe it or not, on PayPal are outrageous. And the more money you give, the more money penalty that it costs. So $100, you can just imagine you're paying like $50 in recharges. It's happened to me. I know it's happened to me. And I just wanted to strangle said person. We're cool now. He watches my videos. What's up, man? Anyway, that being said, let's go to the viewer side of things now, because those are the most plus things. The viewer side, right off the bat, what can you expect, which is a little bit more pros, is you get to send a custom message upon first subscribing, which is no different than doing a $4.99 sub. It would pop up and you would read it anyway, so that's nothing really new. It says access to additional emotes for the $9.99, $24.99 if provided by a partner, which is all streamer based. Like I said before, you're helping out a partner unlock emotes faster, and then I'm not too sure what it means by participate in the new $9.99 and $24.99 subscriber roles based within the Twitch app if offered by a partner. I don't know what that means, so I don't know if that means you can subscribe off your phone now easier, or if there's going to be like you can only do it on the computer. I'm not too sure what that meant. I clicked on the link that they give you, the Twitch app, which it's just like some desktop app. I don't know. Instead of viewing it online, you view it at like I don't know. It's just weird. So I don't know. I guess if they participate in that, I don't see why they would or wouldn't. I would say it's just an app that you can watch on your computer. So I don't know. Anyway, so that one really doesn't count, if anything new. That being said, from a viewer perspective, this really freaking sucks, in my opinion. In my opinion. So here's why it sucks and why it's a big deal. Now, before people get into the hissy-pissy things, first off, I just see greed from Twitch. This is a greedy thing for Twitch to just be like, hey, Now we're going to separate everybody from subscribers. You want to pay more to your person you like, you're worth a little bit more, and you get an emote, or a few emotes. And in my opinion, I don't think that's worth it. And I'll explain here why in a second. First off, as a viewer, this kind of sucks because you're separating your subs. Like, that was the cool thing about Twitch. You either had your viewer, which is fine. That's what most streamers want anyway, is a viewer, just you being in the channel, because the more viewers, the higher you go up on the list of whatever you're streaming with or streaming on. So if you're creative, you know, one extra viewer could get you bumped up higher on that page. And then you had your subscribers, which everybody was equal. Everybody had your subscriber badge. Everybody had the same amount of emotes. And it just worked out great. It was awesome. Now, Twitch is like, oh, well, we're going to... And this is no different than bits. We'll talk about bits here in a second. But so they're like, oh, well, now you can pay us $10 for one month. You could pay me $25 for 1 month. Does anybody see what's wrong there? Why I'm paying Twitch $25 for 1 month, and they're like, oh, well, if you donate $25, no different. And we'll talk about that in a second. But that was the first thing that irritated me and really bugged me, is that if I'm going to pay that extra money, I should get more than just a perk of $24 and I get an emote. Like, okay, I understand that I'm supporting my streamer and the person I really like and enjoy to watch, and I really want to help them. That's great. But I don't see me getting anything out of it besides an emote. And if you're a Twitch, if you use different emotes anyway, or if it's not that great of an emote, and you don't use it anyway, like, this has to be a really good emote to be used all the time. Like, I have to be like, oh, I want to use this emote more so than the regular general emotes to pay out that much money. And on top of that, if you're a Twitch Prime partner, you get kind of gypped off too, because you don't get any of those perks paying Amazon. You're paying Amazon. If you're a student, you're paying less, but if you're paying like as a regular Amazon Prime member, you're paying like $100, if not more, a year to just get a $4.99 sub. So you don't even get included in the $9.99 sub or the $24.99 sub. So you're getting chipped off that way. And like I said, you're just getting you're getting an emote for it. I'm not getting another month. I don't get anything, any different prizes from it. I'm an extra subscriber. And to me, yeah, that benefits the streamer, and I help out the streamer. But as a viewer perspective, Twitch didn't think about it at all. Going to money now. So when bits were released, I realized bits was just a different way to do things. Bits was more of a way to just go, hey, we are going to implement a different way that you can help your streamer, which is fine. That's why I didn't have a big problem with bits, is because bits in itself was like, oh, it's a different way. It's like donating, and you're not subscribing, and you can literally donate a cent. It like that low. You can donate such a low amount. The problem with bits and the problem with Twitch as it is that Twitch likes to take an amazing amount of cut out of things. And when it came to bits, which nobody really talks about, is that it is not worth it for the viewer. Like, you're spending $10 to get a $5 bit, pretty much, in the long run. If you keep adding it up, you keep doing the math, you're spending more money to get less bits, in a way. And sure, it helps the streamer, but the streamer doesn't get that much bits either, because of the cut and how Twitch has calculated everything. You're just like, oh, you're not really... It's cool to have the bit badge by you, whatever color, but in the long run, it's not helping you, because you're spending more money to get less product, pretty much, or less bits. And then on top of that, if you donating those bits, those 1 cent bits that you watch don't really help. So thank you Windows. Anyway, on top of that, I know people are going to be like, well, bits are free, you can watch as money ads, and bots are doing it, and blah blah blah, and there's an underlying thing there. We're not going to get into that. Yes, they're free, but still, you have to watch so many ads. Is the amount that you give really worth your time? That's really what you really want to put into. Which goes into the next thing here. I'm paying $24.99 just I'm using the highest, or $9.99 to give my streamer only half of that again. Why? Why are we doing this? Like, I can give you 25 bucks on the spot right there, PayPal, and they can get it full. I can give you 10 bucks and they can get it full. I don't need to go through Twitch if I really want to support a streamer and give somebody $9.99, which they're only getting half of that, 5. And that's if they do it that way. Twitch hasn't really announced how much they're taking or how much of a cut they're taking, keep in mind, to even the people who opt in on this. Now, also when it comes to this is that it's going to create more of a hierarchy here. And this is the sad part, the depressing part about it. And people are going to be like, oh, this is just a pity party. You know, you don't have to donate. You just being there, and most streamers will say this, you just being there helps. But, you know, it really just hurts people who scrape by, who do things to try and get $5 a month to support that streamer because they really like that streamer. And they were getting all the perks for it, you know? And that's what the best thing was, is that if you just scraped up $5 and you're like, well, $5 isn't that much money compared, but it is to some people. If you're a little kid or younger, maybe you don't have a job, maybe you have to do, you know, yard work or chores to get those $5, and then your mom will pay for this on their credit card, or you don't have a credit card, or whatever the case may be, or using a personal story here that I was allowed to use, and I'm going to use it in this video, is that I know a subscriber from a channel, and he said, you know, it really sucks is because it took me so long to become a subscriber, and the way that I become a subscriber now is I sell old gift cards. Yep, that's right. He uses old gift cards to subscribe for $4.99 a month to make sure he subscribes to somebody he really enjoys, and he's in the same playing tier. Now, Twitch is now separating and creating a hierarchy, and not intentionally, I don't think, but that's what it's going to come down to, is that now streamers are going to have this opportunity or window, and Twitch, we'll talk about Twitch here, to use those tiers as a stepping stone to really bump up you to spend more money. And what do I mean by that is, if you're a $24.99 sub, they might give you extra perks. You might get the Snapchat, you might get the, I don't know, phone number, whatever streamers offer these days that are really perky. You might get their Discord at a certain amount now. Now they have those tiers, and they're punishing those people who can only afford $5. Now, I'm not saying all streamers are going to do this, but I can see streamers taking the opportunity and doing this because they want more money, and like this is great. They want more subs, they want more emotes, that they want more people to spend that money and spend it, you know, monthly. They got to convince people. So they might give perks like that. Like I said, not everybody, but it's just working as like a Patreon, and that's why I think the basis of Patreon works for Patreon, but not Twitch. And what do I mean by that is, like, Patreon, you still get more of that money. Patreon takes a chunk, but you still get more of that money when you're donating to them on Patreon. And Patreon also, you had creative ideas and perks that were implemented in, if it be Snapchat, or if you get like a personalized letter, whatever tier you unlocked, whatever, right? Now on Twitch, it's going to be hell in a handbasket, because now you're delegating with people who are like $24.99 subs, and then they could go to $9.99 and going up and down and working in the tier system, because a lot of that stuff is just one-time thing. And depending on how consistent and how the streamer keeps up with things, it's like, hey, you know, you don't get this perk anymore. You know, it's like, do I remove you off of Snapchat, or do I keep you on? Like, is somebody really going to take the time and effort to go through that on a month-to-month basis when things are so fluctuating? On top of that, like I said, the whole cut and just the donating of the whole, it just seems like Twitch is just being greedy, and you don't get much out of it. Which leads me into my next thing is, I went and looked up a Time magazine subscription. You're like, oh, Time magazine, oh man, ugh. But if you still did magazines and you got the hard copy or the paper copy to your house, for 1 year I could spend $30. What, 1 year? 1 year I spent $30. And if I wanted a digital copy of all the Time magazines, $40. $40. Now that is 52 copies or whatever in a year. So that is much better than spending $24 just 1 month. You're spending 1 month. Even Amazon Prime offers you a year subscription for $100, and you're spending $100 in 4 months to subscribe to somebody. Just keep that in mind. Now, if you wanted to use game bases, we're going to use RuneScape. So RuneScape used to be $5 a subscription. So if you do five times 12, that's 0. Put the 1 up there. That's $60 a month. Now they upped it a little bit. You're paying $80 a year for a full year subscription, 84, 90, and you're still getting a year's worth of subscription, where you're paying, you go almost 3 months into a subscription, and you're only getting 3 months of subscription on a sub. So that's what's the shitty thing, is that you're going to create a hierarchy. You're creating a greediness from which you can see. It's a viewer. The viewer's idea was not there. It was like, wow, the viewer gets an emote. Oh, okay. Oh, wow, we help our streamer out. But we can help our streamer out just being there. We don't have to donate to a streamer. And streamers will tell you that all the time. Your view counts more than any money that they can get, which I know is kind of not true because they do it for a job. But that's the basis of it. And on top of that, I can, like I said before, I can give you $25 and it's $25. I'm not going to go through Twitch, give you $25. Twitch is going to be like, $12.50 for me, and here's your $12.50. Why? Just why? Why is that? And the last thing I believe, and when I talk about Amazon, you have to keep in mind Amazon is the reason Twitch is running right now. Twitch sold to Amazon back in the day. I don't see Amazon stopping here, and that's the scary part. When I think of it as a viewer, I think long term, and I say long term, people are going to be like, well, this is not going to be really worth it, because you're going to run, like, if you're looking at the subscriber, we're going to go back to the subscriber email tier list, which you can link, the links will be down below. Once you get to 125 subs, you're already at 10 emote slots. Like, that, it's insane how fast you're getting emotes now, and for the amount of money that people are going to spend, you're going to be up at 10 to 15 subscriber emote slots, and those will be permanently unlocked, and you have to have 15 different ideas. You have to have 20 different emotes if you get to 500 subs. And it won't be unlikely for that to happen off the bat, but then people are going to be like, okay, Twitch, what are you going to offer me? What like I said, you're not offering me anything but an emote, and me helping you out, the streamer out, which I already explained. I could donate, I could give bits if I really want, if it's implemented on the channel. I could just be in the channel and just be there. So I think Twitch is going to notice this, and they're going to be like, oh, well, if you're a $24.99 sub, you get this as a perk, or you get this as a perk, kind of like they did as a Twitch Prime thing. Keep in mind, Twitch Prime off the bat was like, oh, you get to subscribe now, and then it's like, oh, Twitch Prime now is offering these games, oh, these codes. Notice that, and I don't see anything. I see the same thing happening with these $9.99 and the $24.99 subs. So that being said, oh, and one thing I forgot is that a partner now, the partners will be able to give away a subscriber. This is a pro, a subscriber each month. And what I mean by that is they can get a subscription to their channel. Like, here you go, you can subscribe to my channel, which will be cool. It'll be nice for a giveaway. But once again, that's only I'm assuming that will be only the $4.99 perk. So if I hope Twitch is like, oh, well, this is not working. There's a disconnect there between the viewer, the businessman, and the viewer is always going to win. Maybe the viewer's down here right now, the businessman's up here. He's like, oh, we got him now, boys. And the viewer's going to be like, fuck you, you better fix your shit. That is it all, so I'm going to just refresh. You get more emotes, the subscriber tier list is permanently unlocked for the partner, you get more money, it's not, delegation's easier, you can not have to worry about people refunding on you and causing you hell in a handbasket, and you give away, you have now a opportunity to give something away from Twitch, and you don't have a partnership, worrying about a partnership to be like, oh, I'm giving away a wallet from walt.com. By the way, I'm not sponsored. I don't even know if that's a real website, so calm down, boys. Anyway, that is it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye, guys.